how can we achieve our wildest goals in 2023, Lloyd?
I am going to tell you.
Good. That's what we want.
And not only am I going to tell you, I'm going to lead the anchors listening, the business anchors, through an exercise where they can set their goals for 2023 and do it in a way that's going to make sure they actually achieve them.
This is an interesting episode because I've done zero prep for this because you've got this activity that you didn't want me to know what we're doing, just so I'm like you anchors listening.
Yeah,
so
Dan's playing the part of a normal business anchor listening to this, and he's going to be setting his goals. So if you think, oh, this sounds good, I want to achieve my wildest goals in 2023, and I'm in a position where I can safely write things down and that kind of thing, not driving, then get some pen and paper ready or something you can type on, and we'll go through this exercise together and set our goals and achieve amazing things in 2023.
But if you are driving, keep listening.
If you are driving, it's still going to be good. It's still going to be funny. And maybe you could listen. And actually, we're going to review our goals at the start of this episode and stuff. That'll be a laugh, still enjoy that. Then maybe listen to the activity and think, oh, I'm going to re-listen to this when I get home.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, good plan?
Yeah, good plan, Lloyd. I'm excited.
So first, Dan, I would like to review the goals that we set last year.
Oh, okay.
So there's an episode about a year ago where we set our goals. We reviewed my goal from the previous year. Do you remember what that goal was?
Was it plant 1 million trees?
Yes. See, so there are ways to do this where you can achieve your goals, and there's ways to do this where you won't. If you just if you just pick out of the air, plant 1 million trees, and don't think if it's realistic or how much that would cost.
Do you know what this has just made me think of? I don't even think the team know about this. When you started a YouTube channel called Lloyd Today, you said in the first video, I'm going to create a YouTube video every day for this YouTube channel. And you created one video and it's still there and there's just one video.
Did. Have a look on YouTube, Lloyd Today.
Filmed in our parents' lounge, I think.
Also, I mean, how bad is that to literally only do the first day? To make so much effort.
But you're an expert in setting goals, so you're going to teach the listeners how.
Well, I think I'm playing the part of someone who has previously failed in a lot of this. And actually, the last year and this year, bloody hell, this year's going to be good. I found ways where I'm achieving my goals, and I've made really good progress. And I'm really happy and healthy and a lovely man.
Good. And you're going to share those lessons with us.
I'm going to share those lessons. So yes, 2 years ago, admittedly, I said I'd plant 1 million trees. Didn't happen. That's when I wasn't using these processes. Okay. A year ago, I set... so we'll go through my goals first, Dan.
Okay, go on then,
yours. So a year ago, I finally set some realistic goals. So that was my challenge.
I remember the episode.
I'm going to run a marathon every day. I'm going to plant 1 million trees. I'm going to be a supermodel. And then... obviously, they weren't realistic.
Yeah.
Last year, I set a goal of exercising 3 times a week for 30 minutes. And for the first time in my whole life, I've been doing that.
Round of applause, please, anchors.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
No, it's genuine. I've genuinely noticed that this is the first time ever where you actually enjoy exercising now.
Yeah.
And we play squash and stuff, and I've definitely noticed it.
So I do at least 3 sessions of 30 minutes, but most weeks I would say I do between 4 and 6 30-minute at least exercise sessions. So, and that is literally the first time ever I've done this. So that's why I'm teaching you guys. Okay.
Cool.
And my other goal was a bit more vague. I think I'd make it more...
smart.
Yes, a smart goal if I was to go through this process. I'm going to go with you. But I said to spend my time in a way that's better for me. So that was around me stopping saying yes to everyone.
Yes.
And also stopping things that I was doing with my time that didn't benefit me, like scrolling through TikTok endlessly when I could be doing something that I would enjoy more or would... give me some kind of benefit or help the people I love.
Stopping doing charity work and stuff because it's not beneficial for you.
Yes, to me. Yeah, it's all about me. And I feel I've made progress with that 100%. So I'm really happy with that, and I'm definitely going in a good direction. Probably not perfect. I think my TikTok screen time I checked recently, it could be improved.
Okay.
So
I dread to look at mine.
yeah,
God.
I want to continue that. But Dan, last year you set a huge amount of goals.
I did. I remember the episode. I spent so long preparing for that.
Do you remember what they were?
I remember. Yeah, I remember some of them. Go on.
And how do you think you've done?
I think I achieved about half of them, but we'll find out now because
Okay.
you remind me specifically.
Okay, so you split yours into different categories, which is actually very good, and I'd recommend that when I go through the process shortly. But you
What were the categories? Go on.
You had business goals.
Yeah.
And one of those was to support Knowlton to produce the best work we've ever produced. Big old tick.
I feel like I've done that because I've been involved a lot more in the concept meetings and stuff, and I feel like I've done a lot more towards. Yeah, so
Well, we have done the best work we've ever done this year as a business.
and I was involved more,
You were
so
involved.
it must all be down to me.
Yes, yeah, all down to you. None of the team got any talent. You just do really good stuff.
No, it is our team, but
You also said that you would. Sorry, I'm laughing because stupidly in my notes I just put 2030 plan stuff. So now I have to try and remember what your goal was.
I said one of my goals is 2030 plan stuff.
But it was around doing what you need to do and supporting us towards our 2030 long-term goals within the business. How do you think you've done there?
I think I've been close to achieving it, but when we sort of crunch the numbers in our yearly strategy session, we'll really know.
Yeah.
But I think been close to achieving it.
I think it's a partial thing. I think both of us, with our long-term goals, there's been parts of this year where we've taken our eye off the ball and we could have done better, but there's been some good things as well. Health and fitness goals, Dan. We'll quickly go through these ones because there are literally so many you set last year.
Oh,
and you said, I don't know if you remember, you said you have to write them like you've already done them.
yeah, I remember
That was a bit of a wanky thing you said. So you said, I've gone to the gym 4 to 5 times a week and hit PBs in my something like core lifts or some. There's another wanky thing. Yeah.
Something mucked that up slightly.
Yeah.
Had a baby.
Right.
So I think
And you didn't have a part in that decision.
It was all planned. But
Mummy and Daddy do a special cuddle.
I do think that for the first, this is my honest, transparent thing. I think for the first probably 6 months, yes, I'd say it's gone down to now more 3 times at the gym a week.
Okay.
Because I have to take Brody to nursery.
Does your app tell you how many times you've been in the year?
The gym app.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it in ages, so I'd have to download it and stuff now.
Oh.
But I can.
Thought that would be a good moment for the podcast, but because the year before you had 149 sessions.
Oh, in the whole year it told you.
Yeah.
Oh,
but I could have prepped you for that. So that
yeah,
could have been
I didn't
involved.
know.
At a later date, maybe we'll tell you.
Downloading now in the background.
Okay. Multitasking. You said I've played squash once a week.
Double tick. We've played. I think on average, I've played over 2 times a week.
That's more than one.
It's 2 or more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm really happy
Brilliant.
about.
Double tick. That's a new one. I've given up drinking for 3 months of the year.
Triple tick.
Triple chick.
I did.
What a night.
I did January, February, and then I did 2 more months in the middle of the year, and then like 1.5 months near the end of the year. So that's more.
Health and fitness goals are going well. I do a healthy food shop every week and eat healthily.
Yep. Tick.
Cool. So family goals. Just let me read all of these out, Dan. Okay. So book at least 1 date night per month. At least 1 family day out or weekend away a month. Don't come back later than 6 p.m. on a weekday. And I help around the house more.
Yep.
How do you think you've done?
Partly. I haven't been home after 6. I've booked a date night. We kind of do spontaneous things. So yeah. And what are the other ones? Help around the house more? Yes. We'll have to ask Christelle about that.
At least 1 family day out or weekend away a month.
Yeah, we've done that.
Okay. Well, interestingly, I secretly went to Christelle before this.
Oh no!
Because I thought I'd better clarify if you've achieved those family goals, and she doesn't quite agree that you've done those ones you said, Dan.
Go on.
So I asked Christel and said, I just want to check, has he done these things? And he said he has done the date night one.
Okay, sweet.
But I think she feels on every other one they haven't been achieved.
The 6 p.m. one.
So at least one family day out, a weekend away a month. Don't come back later than 6 p.m. on a weekday and help around the house more. Even though you were just lying to the business anchors and said, oh yeah, partially, yeah, done that. We've clarified the real answers.
You bastards.
And you haven't. So I just thought I'd let
good.
you say what you thought before
Yeah,
I
I thought
told
you
you I'd
might.
asked your wife or fiance.
Thanks, mate.
Are you going to get married?
At some point in the future,
Okay,
but
cool. 2 status, no marriage. Then you had charity goal, Dan.
oh god, massive fail.
Organised and taken part in one charity event that raised £1,000.
I think
This is where Dan goes, yeah, raised £2,000. And then I go, I've contacted the charity.
I think
They haven't received any funds.
I think I scheduled an hour to do some research, which I did do in January.
Good on you.
And I didn't do anything after that. So
Okay.
no, fail.
Okay. So I know I'm joking, Dan. Like, I know I'm, it sounds like I'm really giving you shit. But I think overall, obviously you set, there's something like 15 goals or something. And in reality, it seems like over half of them you have achieved. Charity didn't quite go to plan. Health and fitness you smashed. Business did really well. Family, depends who you ask.
Yeah.
But overall looked good. Do you have your gym?
I'm just looking at the activity now. Yearly. Oh god, I can actually see it. Wait, work out what. Oh, actually, okay, here we go.
Is it
Right.
from the 1st of January or like the last
Total
12?
visits this year, and we're obviously near the end of December.
Okay,
So this would.
so we're
So work out
50 times 3, 150. Oh no, 50 times 4 to 5 times. So
Wait, did I say 4 to 5 times?
yes, so
We're going 4.
200 to 250 it should be at the moment. Where are we?
So last year was 147.
Okay, I mean last year you said 149. I checked, so more lying. Okay. Yeah, continue.
This year,
Yeah.
177.
Okay.
So I'm actually closer than I thought compared to like 200 would be the lower.
So you said 4 to 5. That's 3 to 4.
Yeah.
So I mean, still
I'll take that.
good over a year.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. All right. So that's how we did last year.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going to go through a process of setting our goals for this year.
Okay.
So
Have you sort of branded this process? You're going to call it something fancy so that we can promote it?
yes,
Have you actually?
this is called the Lloyd Knowlton goal setting extravaganza.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Trademark.
Yeah.
So you can take place at home, guys. So are you ready? So firstly, Dan, we're going to brainstorm some actionable objectives.
Are you allowed to say brainstorm?
I am.
Not joking. Okay, some actionable objectives. Okay.
So again, I guess we want to focus on what areas of your life you're keen to improve. And I want to hear, have you had any ideas already? And just your initial, without going through a structured process, what are you currently thinking? Any ideas?
So
or
my current thoughts, and you're obviously going to guide me.
All the anchors will be in this place where it'll kind of be now like, okay, well, I know I want to improve this, but I don't really know what to do.
So I did think last year having theme. I know I probably set too many goals, but having themes I thought was good because there's different areas of my life that I want to achieve certain things in. So I would probably go down the route of picking some themes that I want to. So I think maybe similar to like health, business, family. Health, business, family.
Charity was the other one, but that hasn't been.
Charity was the other
It
one.
wasn't overly successful.
But yeah, and charity as well. And I next year when we do this podcast again, I would have done the charity one.
Okay, but is that obviously this sounds like pressure to do something for charity? But is that genuinely something you want to focus on this year? Because no judgment if it's not, because most people.
No, I'm not just saying it's trying to look good to the anchors. I think I feel like I need to do more charity stuff, which I don't know if that answers your question or not, but
feel like you need to.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that for you to feel better, or you just would like to do more something for
I
other
just feel like I
other...
should. Oh no, well the charity work's not for. Well, I guess it'd probably make me feel good doing charity work,
Yeah.
but it's more thinking we're very fortunate and trying to do nice things for other people. And we used to do a yearly thing that we did,
Yeah.
the walk, and we haven't done that.
It's probably the first year we haven't
Yeah.
done something like that.
So I feel like I'm behind on. I've give to charity and stuff, but not
Yeah.
done an actual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And so you want to have business goals?
Yeah, business goals, health goals. I definitely want. I
Mm-hmm.
really got a huge amount of benefit from taking breaks from alcohol, which you did a podcast episode on recently. I want to actually increase my goal for that because I surpassed my goal of 3 months.
The alcohol stuff.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
want to increase the goal for that. And yeah, I haven't thought much about the other areas, but definitely. Maybe I think my overall thing will be to simplify the goals and have less goals
Yeah.
that because it's
Yeah.
a bit too much.
Well,
I
that
think.
worked. Like, I guess between us last year, you had loads and achieved a lot, but not. I guess if you look at all of it, you're like, oh, I achieved about half or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas I had 2 small goals and kind of overachieved that. So yeah, I don't know. It depends really. But
Yeah.
okay, so still similar areas of like business, health.
Family, charity.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your brainstorm something with me? What?
Okay. 3 big themes that I want to think about are sobriety.
Okay.
Just because I've found this year it wasn't part of my goals, but it's had such a positive the periods of time that I've been sober, I feel has had such a positive effect on like
Obviously,
almost everything in my life.
Last episode, you were necking beers though.
Huh?
No, Jake, you are talking about having periods of sobriety. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just really
Yeah.
has had such positive like knock-on effects of not drinking. I feel so much more motivated, even like motivated within the business to make positive changes and things like that. My fitness, without a doubt, the reason why I've exercised much more has been because I've been drinking less.
Yep.
I had recently I had a drink, guys. I suppose I should point out, didn't achieve my 90 days sobriety, but did over 50 days. So that was good. 51.
Not quite
Over
my
50.
60 days that I
Over
did
50.
in January.
But the day that I had my first drink, the morning after that, I didn't go to the gym, even though I was actually in Leicester. I'd paid for a day pass for a gym because I was like,
I'm
going to do it. Yes, yeah. And so, but that's just an example of, I know if I have a couple of drinks, my motivation for exercise and everything really decreases. And then, yeah.
So are you, I know we're not setting your goals yet, but are you thinking of setting a goal of a certain amount of months, like 4 months or?
Yeah, I would think
cool.
so. Something like that.
Cool.
Yeah. So sobriety, one area. Another area is reading. So part of my goal last year, I said I want to use my time. How did I word it? More
better
for myself and that. And so it's like less time endlessly scrolling on social media, or less time kind of just doing things that weren't good for me. And my habit for reading, which I think we are going to do a podcast episode on potentially, the things I've learned from all the books I've read this year. I just got a lot out of that. I've read, don't know what it is, but I've read, I don't know, between 20 and 40 books this year. I don't actually know where it is. But looking back a year later, I've really gained some valuable lessons and really enjoyed reading. So I want to try and make myself do it more.
Cool.
That's that. And the other thing is my health and fitness. For the first time in, well, probably ever, I've hit goals that I've set for my health and fitness, and I'm in a really good place. So I feel like I can push myself further.
Nice.
So that'd be right. So now that was step 1, brainstorming ideas, anchors. So I hope you've been writing down any ideas you have, areas of your life that you think, oh, I'd like to improve that. Or if you've already thought, I did want to run a 5K every week, or anything, any thoughts you have. So now you've got those there that we can look at. Step 2, set yourself up for success.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. So, got a surprise for you, Dan. So, Tay, could you pass me our tools we're going to use to set ourselves up for success? Thank you.
Oh, wow.
So, we've got, would you like a green?
I'll go black, please.
Black. So, listeners, I'm just passing
Thank
down.
you.
This is a
these are really nice.
productivity planner.
Oh, wow.
One of the best reviewed productivity planner that you can find online. And actually, Business Anchors, you can get one if you head to amzn.to/3xyrezx, which is really a good URL to give you on a podcast. But
this is
anyway,
cool.
they're there, or the link will be in the description of this video or the podcast episode if after this you do want to have a look and get one yourself. So the first thing we're doing, Dan,
Yep.
we are going to
page
go to the section which is on page... by the way, listeners, you can do this without this book. I'll talk you through it.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go to page 5, Dan.
Yep.
Roles and goals.
Okay.
Okay. And I've actually got you a pen here.
Thank
You can
you.
either choose the Apogee or the Everything branded pen. Two of our clients.
Oh, Apogee. Go with Apogee. Go on,
A
then.
bit
Thank you.
unfair. Got favourites.
No, I like the everything branded as well. But, you know. Okay.
So we're going to identify your roles. So you sort of said areas there, but you have different roles in your life.
Mm-hmm.
An example might be you're a father,
Mm-hmm.
or you might see yourself as a entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
or a business leader, or a businessman,
Mm-hmm.
or a husband,
Okay.
or a good friend. But I basically want to identify roles that you have in your life that we can focus on.
Okay. We'll start with businessman.
Businessman.
So I'll write that at the top.
Or,
Right?
these could, got an example here, it could just be career role. But yeah, so
Yeah.
so should we set some business goals
Okay.
here, Dan? Should we use this one? So you business anchors, roles that are important for you, this is where you need to write them down. So they're kind of areas of your life that you want to improve and roles you have. So like I said, this could be a friend. You may have things that you want to do in your life to make you a better friend to other people. Or this could be my role as a grandson because you want to be a better grandson to your grandparents. Or my role as a video editor because that's my career I want to go in. All those sort of things. Or a volunteer because you want to do charity stuff. Okay, get the picture?
Mhm. Yeah, got it.
So Dan has chosen the very cool sounding businessman. So the idea is here that you connect who you are with what you want, which is supposed to help you achieve your goals more. So that's who you are. So, have you written businessman?
I've written businessman.
Okay.
Yes, I'm eagerly waiting.
And now step 3.
Yeah.
We're going to identify realistic and specific goals, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done lots of research here, ways that we can make sure we achieve these goals.
Yep.
We want the goals to be grounded in realism. I thought that was quite a cool way to describe it. So the reason I've failed in a lot of mine previously when I've reflected on it is setting these wildly ambitious goals that logically aren't achievable.
Yeah.
And some people do that because it motivates them. Oh, I'm going to run a marathon in under 3 minutes. And then, but realistically, no one's ever done it in less than about 2 hours. So it's not. So we want it grounded in realism. We want it to be specific. So not, I'm going to be a better dad. We want to set things that are specifically specific.
Yeah.
Good podcasting, Lloyd. Yeah.
So I guess I'm firstly thinking in one of the main things in my businessman role.
Yes.
Is what I'm responsible for is driving new business for our company.
Yes.
So I guess you can help me shape this goal, but my goal is to achieve my sales targets across the year.
Nice.
I think rather than saying each month, because I think there's fluctuations, I want to have this podcast in a year's time and us say, you set out that you were going to achieve X or like whatever, and then we can look at what percentage of our and we set the sales targets out in our strategy meeting that we're going to have in a few weeks. So that's one thing. But is that good? Or
so I think for confidentiality reasons, we can set the exact number off the podcast. But I guess the goal would be, I will bring in X amount of business in the next 12 months.
in the next 12 months. Yeah.
I think, and obviously the number we can choose, Dan, that will be based on our business goals, the
Our 10-year
past,
plan.
what we think is achievable, all that kind of thing. We'll make it realistic. But I think that's a really good one because we can have up and down spells in the year. We can have times where you're not doing great and times where you're smashing it. But that's a really good thing to aim for.
Can I? Is there anything else to say on that one? Because I've just thought of something else and I can't think of two things at once.
Yeah, go ahead.
Something else, and I haven't discussed this with you, but I'm thinking I kind of almost want a goal to either hire or bring someone in as part of my sales team.
Yep.
Do you think that's because at the moment I head up all of the sales and I think that
we've got quite a big team for delivering brilliant work for our clients. And really on the sales and marketing side, we've got you and our marketing manager, Yasmin.
Yeah.
And obviously other support. But so your goal is...
But I'm thinking, well, Lloyd, this is up for discussion. I don't know if this year is too soon or...
I don't think so. I think having a goal of employing one more person by the end of the year in a sales/marketing role to support sales and marketing of our
and
business.
I know it's just easy that we can just do that by putting a job ad out and hiring someone, but it needs to be...
You say that, but it's not, because obviously like we need to actually justify it making sense.
That's what I mean. That's what I was going to say.
Like,
we need to justify that role. So the whole point is there's a lot of other work that goes behind achieving that goal. It's not just us putting a job ad out.
Also, if you came to me to discuss this time next year, like start of December, you go, I had a goal of taking on someone else. So can we hire this person? Obviously, I'm going to be like, well, no, that doesn't make any sense. You haven't brought enough sales in to justify that, Dan.
Yes, exactly.
What are the plans for this person?
But I do feel like that is going to help us take things to the next level in terms of driving new business. That is my responsibility. So
to enable us to scale our business further, you've got another resource within. Cool. I like that.
Yeah.
So anchors, whatever role you're looking at now, if you start to write down these realistic and specific goals within this section, obviously as we go through, you might go through and think, oh no, I've ended up with like 20 and take some off and change them. But I think this is a good process to go through. Do you have any more within the business role that you're currently thinking of, Dan, as overall things you want to achieve? You don't have to have any.
Potentially, I guess I was kind of thinking, should I set a goal for this podcast? Because it's such a big part of our marketing. Yeah. My only thought is, I think things do change a lot, and potentially there could be something else that's even more of a focus for us in a year's time. But I guess...
Well, I think this podcast has brought in so much business and positive things for our business. I would be very surprised if that changed drastically in the next year.
Yeah.
Because even if it brought in half the opportunities, it would still be a great...
So I want to set a final goal for the podcast in this area.
Okay.
I guess it's trying to think thinking out loud, what I know is valuable to us commercially for this podcast is getting more of our target market to listen to it.
Yeah.
Because that then filters down into people hearing about us more and what we do and our work and us being on their mind more. So maybe setting a goal in terms of like a listener goal, like increasing the listeners by X% or downloads by X%.
Yeah. I think what about increasing monthly listeners of the podcast to X, whatever that might be?
Yep.
So I suppose, being realistic, Dan, would we be trying to double the listeners, add 10%, 20%? What do you think's a realistic goal for us to set?
That's a good question.
I really want you to say a high number.
A high number?
Yeah.
Why?
And then next year it'll be like, see, we've got 12 million listeners.
I'd say a stretch target is to double it. But maybe that's too much of a...
Right, if a stretch target's to double it, let's set a realistic target of increasing it by 80%.
I reckon realistic would be... Yeah, okay.
No, okay. What do you think realistic would be?
Increase it by 50%.
Okay, cool.
So another 50% of where we are currently on top
So
of.
if we had 10 listeners,
It would be
almost there. Next year, we're going to have 15.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Cool.
So if one
This has
person
actually
could
been a
just,
good exercise.
if one person could just tell 5 more people, that'd be great.
That's
Okay,
a good
so
exercise. Okay, cool.
we'll leave it there
We'll leave it there,
for
we'll leave
the
it there.
podcast. We're going to go through this in more detail and set our own goals.
Can we use this when we do our strategy day?
Yeah, that's exactly what it's for, Dan.
Okay,
We're
cool.
gonna have some great stuff.
Yeah.
So now for step 4, step 3, we have identified realistic and specific goals. Step 4, what we're going to do is break those goals down into smaller steps. Now this, I think, is the most important. Why are you making that face?
No,
Dan?
I'm just interested to actually get into the nitty gritty of it.
Yeah, I think we'll just pick one of these.
Yeah.
And go into some smaller steps. We don't need to cover all of them in this podcast.
Yeah.
But anchors, if you are following along while we're listening, just pick one of your goals and we'll break one down together. You can do it with us, and then obviously you can go away and set those goals yourself. But I did a lot of research for this episode, and I can't remember where I found this, but I'm going to read it to you to sort of explain why you need to break these larger goals down. So by breaking large goals down into smaller steps, I can't read. You use clear planning to affect behavior change. Each step of the way, you create a time-bound goal to help you reach multiple targets along the path to a larger goal. You keep track of these smaller goals in a workbook or journal. That's what we're doing. Refer back to these journals to be motivated by your own progress. To put this into practice, try breaking down a goal like getting hired at a specific workplace into smaller steps like revise my CV, send application, blah, 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 blah. So I just thought this was really interesting because a lot of people's goals are like, oh, I did so well with that until February. Yes. Or like, oh, yeah, until like June, I was doing really well with that. And this is setting small goals along the year. And not only does it mean they're more achievable, so you're just doing that next bit. So, Dan, you said about like 50% more listeners. The first bit could be, I'm going to do this thing to help us get more,
Yes.
or we're going to have a session in our business that's going to help, where we're going to discuss ideas. So that's really good, and it gets you started, but also it's the motivation. So if you just have one big goal at the end of the year, it's quite hard to get motivated consistently throughout the year for that. In January, we're going to be like, oh, yeah, so motivated to achieve that thing.
Yeah.
But actually, when you're in July and you're having a bit of a lull, to look back and go, oh yeah, I hit that in March, April, May, June. I've been doing all these things. Now on to the next thing. It's really motivating to look back at those small steps. So that's why we break it down.
Can I focus it on the podcast one?
Okay, yeah.
Is that right?
Oh, this is podcast being very meta. Yes. Okay, so the podcast goal was to increase monthly listeners by 50%. So the idea here is to set monthly tasks, and those can be broken down further. It gets even further. But monthly tasks. In month 1, Dan, what do you think we should do to start off in a good...
Month 1, I should schedule a session for us to come up with ideas and map out a plan for the year to ensure we're going to achieve that. I guess this is part of that. But that session is bringing other people in so that we can all brainstorm ideas and then like put all of them up on the board and then together pick the ones that we're going to focus on then. Yeah.
Sounds good.
So that would be...
So listeners, this is why this is good. Even if that is the only thing we're trying to do in month 1, that's like a realistic thing for us to achieve, and it's going to set us in the right direction for our goal.
Cool. Just write it down.
Month 2, I shoot like something like begin implementation of those strategies to make sure that there's actually action taking place rather than just, oh yeah, we'll set this, oh yeah, we'll do these ideas. We actually need to start.
Yeah, I'm guessing, I think something that might be good, thinking out loud again, would be to set up or include some kind of regular meeting or some kind of regular way of keeping us accountable for all of this.
Yeah.
Like I know we have our weekly meeting.
I suppose a monthly goal could just be like the monthly podcast review session or whatever something like that.
Yeah.
A good monthly goal too.
Mm-hmm.
And in our workbooks, listeners, because you won't have a workbook here, we've got monthly goals, and there's a deadline that you put in next to it in a column, so you can write all these down and make sure you're ticking them off as you go through. And you can also break these actions down into monthly, weekly, and daily actions. So some of these things you can break down into daily actions. So this massive goal turns into actually very achievable things that could only take you 10 minutes a day.
How did you find this planner thing? It's really good.
I did a lot of research and then compared a lot, and this one has been reviewed by thousands of people, and as one of the best one. And there's really, really good reviews for
How
it.
much is that of interest? People might want to know how much. Is it like loads of money, or is it?
No, well, depends.
Okay, well, okay.
It's about 20 quid, I think.
Oh, okay, that's very reasonable.
Anchors in the description or whatever. Have a look. Have a look at it. See if you think it'd be useful. Maybe it won't be for you, but yeah, it's about 20 quid, and I think it's going to be really useful. So the idea, and we won't do this.
We won't go through the whole thing, but
Anchors, the idea is you break this down into monthly goals, and then as you progress, so each month we would have a session, look at your monthly goals, and then you can break that monthly goal down into tasks that you'll do weekly or daily. So you can just sit down once a month and go, okay, right, they're the things that I set for this month, and break it down. And it makes it really hard not to achieve those things when you're breaking it down to, okay, right, that day I just have to organize the team and set a date for the monthly review session, and I have to do
I guess you also, by doing it like this, you realize early on if you're not achieving the goals, rather than waiting till the end of the year for us to do a podcast and say, did we do it? No, we didn't. Whereas it's like week one, you didn't do the thing, or you did do the thing that you're supposed to do.
So obviously that will take a lot longer for all of your goals, and you can sit down and go through and break those up into the monthly tasks. But for now, we'll skip forward so you don't have to listen to that.
And I guess you do that for each of the different roles, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. Step 5, which I think is something we've never done before, that I think could be really useful. Identify possible obstacles.
Okay.
So thinking about what has stopped you achieving this in the past. Usually if you have a goal...
Babies.
It's so yeah. So we can say one of the actions, don't have babies, but that's not a suggestion. But have babies or don't, whatever you want to do. But normally it's something like, I've wanted to do this for years, and there's reasons why you haven't achieved it in the past. So it's thinking about what has stopped you achieving this in the past, what could stop you, and then thinking about what are you going to do to ensure this doesn't happen.
So can I answer some of that?
Yeah.
I think so. Let's stick to the podcast growth one.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's the classic thing of time management and focus. I think I've focused too much time and energy on other areas, which mean the podcast hasn't grown as much as we want it to.
Yeah. We haven't really had a specific goal to try and grow the podcast, have we?
No.
We've got it to a point where we really enjoy doing it. We've got a really good process of how we produce it and everything, and it brings in business. But we've never done this basically.
Yeah.
We've gone, okay, how we want to now.
I mean,
grow this more.
It's been a decent success. It brings in like hundreds of thousands of pounds to our business. So I think it's done all right.
We've done all right. But what I'm saying is we thinking of that is a huge opportunity for our business to grow the audience of this podcast if that's what it's doing for us.
Yeah.
Well, we've never sat down and gone, okay, right, what steps do we need
We even
to take
said this
to do
recently, like we've got X amount of listeners or downloads or whatever, and it brings in a significant amount of business. Imagine if we just like doubled that, or just got an extra X percent.
Extra 50%.
An extra 50%, which we're doing now.
Something like that.
So an obstacle, going back to what we were saying, an obstacle for me is time management and focus. Is not having lots of things to focus on and not sort of prioritizing.
So I guess now we got to think before we start what we're going to do to ensure that doesn't happen. We're not going to get distracted and forget about it. And I suppose for me, it is this setting monthly and weekly tasks and monitoring that, because then, I mean, if you're say we set weekly tasks and you're on week 7 and it's the 4th time you haven't done anything, we're obviously going to have a conversation like, Dan, you said you'd do this, and we haven't done it for 4 weeks. So, okay. But yeah, I suppose if you're looking at health and fitness goals, like you said about the gym, it's like, I didn't achieve it before because I had a baby and stuff. I suppose it's thinking about like that. is if there's things that you know are going to happen in your life, let's think in advance.
Yeah.
So if you think I don't get to the gym enough because of my childcare responsibilities, I think there's no point going into the year with that same issue.
I could be
get
saying,
rid of the kids.
I could, no, I could, like you're saying, I could be thinking, I'm going to do home workouts when they've gone to bed. So I'm still at home looking after them.
Thinking of those solutions before, what's the point of just going, I've still got that problem, I've got no way to solve it.
Yeah.
And you just are thinking, I'm going to achieve that goal. It doesn't make any sense.
I do like this approach, because we've never done this. Think of the things that are going to stop you achieving it and then actually come up with a plan to combat that.
Address it in advance.
It's just a clever way of giving you a better chance.
That's the thing. Oh, my childcare thing is the reason I don't go to the gym. Let's adapt the goals to not make it gym workouts. You're going to have one gym workout a week, but you're going to have 3 home workouts a week. And then you can do things like now, I need to buy a yoga mat, or I need to buy, whatever that. And then you're taking actions to make sure you're setting yourself up for success.
Yeah.
And that's why step
I think it was 5, wasn't it?
2 was set yourself up for success. Yeah. Yeah. So that's identifying possible obstacles. And now we are on. So obviously, guys, would be identifying those obstacles for all of our goals to help us achieve those. We're on to the final point now.
Yeah.
And I think this is the most important point, which is why I bought us these books then.
Right. Okay.
So set weekly time to review and plan. So I was reading, and the most common reason people don't achieve their goals is just because they don't have something in place to remind them that they have those goals. It sounds like the most simplest thing, and it's so stupid. But you need to be like, right, Monday at 7 a.m. or Wednesday at 4 p.m., I'm always going to spend half an hour setting myself up for success to make sure I've got my weekly actions written down.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do that step, if we don't have a thing weekly where we're like, let's check if we've done what we need to do and let's set actions for the next week, we're not going to achieve these goals.
Last year, I made a big thing on the podcast, and I printed out my goals and I stuck them to my desk, and they're still stuck there for last year. After a few months, I just put paper over them and never looked at them again. Yeah. But what I know, because of our weekly meetings that we have in the agency, what I know works so well is the frequent reviews of, did you do this thing you'd say? And having to account to something like, so I definitely think that's going to be the biggest step for this, is us actually having meetings or like brief check-ins to be like.
Do you think for us, for whatever goal, so me and Dan are actually having a strategy session together where we're going to set more of these goals and set in stone for ourselves personally and for the business. I reckon we should in our calendar have 15 minutes blocked out every single week to review with each other if we've done our.
I think we need to figure out a way to make sure we stick to that as well, because we have other meetings, weekly meetings that we haven't stuck to.
This is why I'm saying this is the most important thing for anyone with these goals.
I think we need to set it on a day as well that is a good day to do it. I think we've previously failed with doing it on Friday.
We've set things for Friday that
we don't go and play squash, and it's like, we'll do it whilst we're playing squash.
We get excited.
Yeah. Okay. No, this is really good. Do you know what gives me confidence? This is the most work we've put into setting goals and focusing on how we're going to achieve them ever. So it gives me confidence that this year we're going to achieve the most things we've ever achieved.
I did a lot of research for this to find out the things that trip people up, like, the step of identifying obstacles. That's a big thing that makes people not achieve their goals. And like I'm saying, this reviewing and planning, the main reason people don't achieve their goals, because it just, you said about losing focus earlier. Yeah. It's that thing. We've all got so much going on. So you're not always going to remember that you need to set up a date night then for your family goals or raise money for charity. Yes. Sometimes you'll forget that for a year. Yeah. Cool. Weird episode.
No, I think again, I don't know what the anchor's going to think, but just, I think being selfish, this is going to be brilliant for us. But I hope that people learn from that. I also think these books, like this, looking at this, just look it up online, because it's
called a purpose planner.
It looks really good and organised, and like it takes a lot of the thinking away from.
It's quite nice as well. So, it feels like one of those things that you're like, oh, this isn't nice. And actually this might be me being a boomer, but writing things down physically.
Yeah.
Because I've had like note apps on my phone where I'm like, oh, I'll track my progress and that kind of thing. But this makes it really easy. And if you're one of those people that likes things to look quite pretty, like the format and stuff, you could make this colourful and make it look really pretty and that kind of thing when you're getting through. But
good episode, Lloyd.
Hopefully, team, we will achieve our wildest goals in 2023.
And to help me, just one final thing, to really help me with my podcast goal, can you tell at least 5 people to go and listen to this podcast so that if you did that, then we'd smash those goals? And
if every one of you told 5 people,
please go and do that.
3 of them listened. That would be simple. Yeah, if you write that down as one of your goals, every week we're going to tell someone about this podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Let us know if you did or you didn't. But hopefully it's useful. And I enjoyed actually doing a bit of an exercise.
Yeah,
with you,
that was good. Love it.
Okay.
And go and set those goals, people.
Set those goals. Achieve your wildest dreams.
And we'll
see you in your ears
next week.